Somewhere between the pages of well-known history books buried beneath the towering narratives of World War I and World War II lies a conflict so devastating, so transformative, and yet so rarely discussed that most people have never even heard its name. The Taiping Rebellion, a civil war that tore through China between 1850 and 1864, killing an estimated 20 to 30 million people, making it one of the deadliest conflicts in all of human history. To put that number into perspective, the American Civil War, which was happening almost simultaneously, claimed approximately 600,000 lives. The Taiping Rebellion claimed nearly 50 times that number. It all began with a man named Hong Xiuquan, a failed government examination candidate from southern China, who, after suffering a mental breakdown, became convinced through a series of vivid visions that he was the younger brother of Jesus Christ, sent to earth to purge China of demons and establish a heavenly kingdom. This was not a fringe belief held quietly in private. Hong Xiuquan began preaching, gathering followers, and building a movement rooted in a unique blend of Christian theology and Chinese tradition. His followers called themselves the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, and within just a few years, what started as a religious revival had transformed into a full-scale military uprising against the ruling Qing Dynasty. At its peak, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom controlled a massive swath of southern and central China, with its capital established in the city of Nanjing, which they renamed the Heavenly Capital. The movement was extraordinarily radical for its time. Hong Xiuquan's government promoted gender equality, banned foot binding, abolished private property, and outlawed opium and alcohol. Women were allowed to serve in the military and hold administrative positions, something almost unheard of in 19th century China. In many ways, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom was attempting to build an entirely new civilization from the ground up, one that challenged both Confucian tradition and imperial authority at the same time. But the war that followed was catastrophic beyond imagination. Entire cities were reduced to rubble. Agricultural systems collapsed across some of the most fertile regions of China. Famine and disease swept through provinces already devastated by combat. The Qing Dynasty, struggling to suppress the rebellion with its own weakened military, eventually turned to foreign-trained forces, including a unit known as the ever-victorious Army, led initially by the American mercenary Frederick Townsend Ward, and later by the British officer Charles Gordon, who earned the nickname Chinese Gordon for his role in the conflict. The involvement of Western powers added yet another layer of complexity to an already deeply tangled war. By 1864, the Qing forces, bolstered by regional armies and foreign support, had surrounded Nanjing. Hong Xiuquan, by this point deeply erratic and increasingly disconnected from reality, died just weeks before the city finally fell, reportedly from illness, though some historians suggest it may have been self-inflicted. The fall of Nanjing marked the effective end of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. The aftermath was brutal. Surviving Taiping leaders and soldiers were executed in enormous numbers. The regions that had been under Taiping control took decades to recover their populations and economic stability. The Taiping Rebellion reshaped China in ways that echoed far into the 20th century. The weakening of the Qing dynasty that resulted from the war accelerated its eventual collapse in 1912. The regional military commanders who rose to power during the conflict laid the groundwork for the warlord era that followed. Even the ideological threads of the rebellion, the radical restructuring of society, the rejection of traditional hierarchies, the centrality of a transformative vision, found distant echoes in later revolutionary movements. This was not a footnote. This was a world-altering event that happened largely out of sight of Western historical memory, a reminder that the stories we consider central to history are often just the ones that were written down by those with the loudest voices.